Oh my god, is this show still not canceled? I mean, is anybody seeing what's going on the screen right now? Is this just me? The fantasy news must flow.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Fantasy News. I am your disheveled goblin host, Daniel Green, and today we have a Wheel of Time drop that I'm gonna get into immediately. It's a title reveal! Oh my god! I just thought I was gonna die. What we had was a bit of a that revealed the upcoming title for the Wheel of Time show. Let's go ahead and roll the clip! Wasn't that a wonderful clip you had right there? I especially like the look of this title. I think it's a cool little evolution on the Wheel of Time logo, emphasizing the snake biting its own leg for the Aes Sedai. Biting its own tail, not its own leg. Snakes famously don't have... God. Oh. And it still remains true to the impression I got from the original. I also especially like the sound design going on here. I'm someone who's emphasized again and again. I'm gonna be very interested to see how they handle the score of this show, if it'll sound kind of typical fantasy or a bit more something else due to spoilery lore things about Wheel of Time. And this, to me, kind of pointed at the latter. Hopefully this vibe remains present throughout the show. Some fans noticed the 9-9 present in this moment, which they're speculating could be the day we get a trailer drop. I don't necessarily think that's actually them signaling that, because that would mean they're putting a 9-9 in like a forever piece of their marketing that I don't think they're gonna do that, because I think they're gonna have this transition logo maybe at like the beginning of every show? I'm not sure, but that's just this goblin's thoughts. Let's go ahead and talk about something a bit more interesting, though, regarding the show. The tie-in books for the show's release dates are being shuffled around, and their original slated places for November are not being pushed down, but actually brought up, it seems. We're now seeing release dates ranging from September to October, so it seems that November could have been a safety placeholder, and now that things might be aligning properly, we could be getting an even sooner release date than initially theorized. This is all speculation. Do not quote me. But this is something I will be keeping my eye on.
Hello, Amazon. I am your worst nightmare. Today I have one demand and one demand only, that if you do not meet, I will dislike several of your videos on your YouTube channel, which will be difficult to recover from. I've been told they don't tell us much about how the algorithm, not that I know about the YouTube algorithm, you don't know who I am. And what I demand is, if you do not release the Wheel of Time trailer within the next couple of months, I will hesitate to remove those dislikes once the trailer is released. That's right. And I have power, I have sway within the Wheel of Time community, because I am, that's right, you didn't see it coming, the Masked Man. You must release the trailer or your dislike ratios will be skewed kind of for a bit. You have a few months to respond. This has been the Masked Man.
Go ahead and follow me on Twitter if you want to stay up to date on the latest. I won't be just retweeting any theories, only the ones that I think have some merit. And special shout out to Wordhead for noticing these release dates shuffling around and posting it to the subreddit, much appreciated. But we have to calm down and bring it in to talk about some cover reveals for some upcoming fantasy releases that I am here for. Starting with one from Tor called The Thousand Eyes from A.K. Larkwood. This is going to be the sequel to The Unspoken Name, and it'll be released February 15th. And it'll be released February 15th of 2022. We have a little snake, what looks like a box. Snaky boxy book. And then following that up, we have two cover reveals from Orbit. The first titled Wild and Wicked Things by Francesca May. This novel will be out March of 2022 and is described as you're invited to enter a world of dangerous witchcraft and glamorous parties. And then we're going to be ending it with my favorite cover reveal of the day, and that is going to be The Liar's Knot by M.A. Carrick. I love the deeper reds and golds here and this kind of mask focus. I don't know, it's just a style I enjoy. Though someone did point out to me that the yellow from the author's title is just kind of different enough from not blending in with the gold, but it's close enough to be in like the same wheelhouse, and I don't... That's bugging me a little bit, so there are people who wanted me to be critical of the covers. I criticized a cover. It doesn't feel good. Now, we have an interesting upcoming story about brainwashing children getting into fantasy, but quickly first, a word from today's sponsor. Oh, yeah. Hello? Yeah. Oh, an ad spot for Campfire? Oh, yeah, sure, no problem. Oh, Jackson? No, he's still dead from the last ad spot. He's gone. No, don't worry, they still offer the same choose your own pricing. Nope, yeah, you can go right in, select what you want, like the character organizer, the maps, stuff like that. Great customer service, community within the Discord server. Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Yep, if you really want to get a step up in designing a D&D campaign, writing a fantasy story, there's no better way. Just record this call and make it the ad spot. But it's a fake phone, it's not a real call. Well, I guess if it works, but it just seems kind of late. So WizKids has announced a plan to release a Dungeons & Dragons style game marketed towards 2 to 4-year-olds to teach them the fundamentals of the game. It's titled Dungeons & Dragons, Dungeon Scrawlers, Heroes of Undermountain. And yes, all I want to say is yes, I have been saying for years that it is oh so important we make sure children at a young age understand the importance of fantasy. Get them brainwashed as best you can at as an impressionable age possible. Whether it's through D&D or books, make it so they read them all and then they're easily lined up to join the Goblin Clan. It's your responsibility as a goblin to make sure your next generation is in our little tiny, definitely kind of maybe cult here, and that way my career can continue on until I'm old and gray, and we can have generations of goblins supporting my whatever the hell this is. But I do genuinely enjoy how transparently and blatantly this is. Like, we're gonna get them into D&D young. They're gonna be a part of the community from birth. I think we should go even younger. I want audio D&D like campaigns running through headphones being shot into the womb. That's how we should do it. All right, but getting a little bit more serious here, we had the showrunners for Avatar: The Last Airbender coming out and talking about their regrets with the show itself, the original one, and the future of the franchise. And it's just interesting to me to see the creators of a piece of media that's widely considered like one of the best of the genre and medium that's ever been put out, constantly heralded as a masterpiece, still be hypercritical of their work. Like, no one's ever going to be harsher on your material than yourself, like, no matter what. And it remains true, it seems, all the way, because even some of the episodes they talk about, like, I enjoy those episodes and I didn't wish them to be cut. It's just so neat. So if you're interested in seeing where the franchise might be going, check out the link in the description down below, and I recommend you do so. Also, maybe leave a like while you're down there. That would feed the goblin. If you hit like, you're feeding the goblin. That's actually a thing I'm saying now. Here, watch, I'll eat it. Now, breezing away from the Avatar: The Last Airbender show and landing into some alien territory, we had the showrunner for the upcoming Xenomorph-focused alien show at FX speaking on the underlying themes of what they're going to be tackling here. And he kind of talked about how the Xenomorphs could be a representation of the lower class and what could happen in our own society if you let these wealth disparities go unaddressed forever. And one of the first comments I saw on this being posted to Twitter was someone saying like, oh, can't keep your activism out of my escapism. Did you not watch the original movie? There've always been focused on some kind of political commentary. How do people not get this? Like, even directly classism has been a theme of the Alien movies before. This isn't new. Ripley specifically, it's not even subtle, she specifically says in the second movie.
You know, Burke, I don't know which species is worse. You don't see them each other over for a goddamn percentage.
How? That's not subtle, it's overt. Like, I get that it seems like there's a lot of politics in media today, but like franchises that have already been largely some kind of commentary, that's like a really just these are the same people who play Rage Against the Machine and don't get it. Okay, but hopping on out of there and talking about something a bit less controversial, I assume, because I'm not super connected to this franchise, we also had the first trailer coming up for the latest Masters of the Universe adaptation. And I can't really speak on whether or not this seems loyal to the lore or characters or anything, because again, I'm not connected to this, but I've seen a pretty positive reaction from the fans. And the animation seems pretty good for what Netflix is putting out now in their animation flood, and with Kevin Smith's attachment, it's definitely interesting to keep an eye on. So let me know if you're a Master of the Universe fan, what you thought of this in the comments down below. And then falling in line with actually something that seems to be a rising trend, I guess, for science fiction and fantasy, Disney is actually going to be putting out a collection of shorts for the Star Wars universe, all done from different animation studios, similar to a couple other recent stories I've covered here. And I love seeing this. I love seeing sci-fi minds come together with some great animation studios to do stuff that is stylistically chosen and created to align with the story. And having Star Wars as a medium means a lot more people are going to be interested in it, and I hope could boost the whole idea of this concept becoming more popular, even though it already seems to be on the rise because of things like Love, Death, Robots. So yay. My only concern would be whether or not Disney's actually going to follow through on giving these animators enough room and freedom to focus and really grow in the way they need to. Like, I just have a fear that Disney is so free-loving and great at letting animators do whatever they want and storytellers tell exactly the story they wanted to, and nothing could possibly go wrong. Everything here is exactly as it should be. And now we are fated to hop into a bit of video game news, as an update for Fable 4 has been given, where apparently the game will be continuing its more lighthearted tone and rather British. And they said out before Elder Scrolls 6, and with the rumors floating around that Elder Scrolls 6 is still within the design and concept phase all these years later, that's not that surprising to hear. But this was a franchise that was very key to my fundamental understanding and growing love of fantasy and video games as a kid, so I'm always going to be a bit curious to see what they're doing, though I'm not sure if I'll play it necessarily. And then hopping into the final story of the day, this is probably gonna be something a little bit controversial for people, because I know there's a lot of thoughts and feelings on all sides of the spectrum about this actress and her career, but Jennifer's Body 2 is something that Megan Fox has expressed interest in. Jennifer's Body was a movie that was notoriously very poorly marketed, as the producers behind it, or whoever was in control of the marketing campaign, didn't get that this wasn't meant for horny guys to enjoy Megan Fox. But since the failure of its initial launch, this movie has gathered quite the following, has become quite the cult classic within fans of that kind of movie. And that's really nice to hear. I always love seeing a movie find its audience and be appreciated in a new way. And now with Megan Fox's recent comeback, I guess you could call it, as she's having this kind of resurgence I've at least noticed online, I'm interested to see if a Jennifer's Body TV show or two would be wanted by the fans of the movie, or if they'd like it to stay as this cult piece of media. As someone who's not really deep in that conversation, I'm curious how people are feeling about it. And I'm going to insert a story here purely for my own documentation of a prediction I want to come back and see if I was right on. A couple of days ago, someone involved with The Witcher show made an offhanded comment about how nice and charming and friendly Henry Cavill is, and they actually said he could be a politician, not in a serious, I think you should be a politician manner, but just that's how nice and charming he is. And I'm putting this in the video that within a couple of months, we'll have seen a full cycle of news talking about Henry Cavill for possible politics. Oh my gosh, could Henry Cavill? And we'll just see that blow up and do its whole thing. I'm putting it in here purely for my own documentation to point at. Let's see if it happens. Anyway, everybody, like and subscribe if you have not already. Hit the Patreon if you want to support what I do here. Join the Discord server if you'd like to contribute news stories you'd like to see covered in the future. And have a good one, y'all. Be kind, be cool, peace.